Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center and delighted to be joined with Hidde with his movie Hunting Jack. Let's take a look at the clip.
Feitelijk sta ik bekend om het opsporen van oorlogsmisdadigers uit de Tweede Wereldoorlog. Gelijk dat de Oostenrijker Simon Wiesenthal dat ook heeft gedaan. In Canada en Amerika en Zuid-Amerika sta ik bekend als Hunting Jack.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
What a film you made. I've got so many questions. I think it's such an incredible film. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
So my documentary is called Hunting Jack. It's a portrait about a 94-year-old Nazi hunter from the Netherlands. I'm originally from the Netherlands myself. So after World War II, there were a lot of these war criminals that escaped justice or escaped the country. Some of them went to Germany, some of them went to South America, and Jack was one of the people, that went after him so they could, go to trial. Mostly because a lot of the countries after the war, they were so busy rebuilding the country that they didn't pay too much attention to it from the get-go.
This was a brilliant film. Like the way you made this documentary was incredible. Like seriously, and a very, very important film as well, because I think it's a part of the history that we can never ever forget. But also realize that there are people out there like this incredible human being who is literally trying to hunt these people down. How did you come about with this particular story and then decided to turn it into a documentary?
Well, when I was a teenager growing up in Holland, there's a lot of World War II, because we were occupied, so there's a lot, you learn it in school, people speak about it. I hear from my own grandma even stories still that she heard planes flying by, things like that. And then I saw a documentary about Simon Wiesenthal, actually probably the most famous Nazi hunter in the world. And I was only 14 or something like that, and it intrigued me so much that it showed like these war criminals had just false names and would live somewhere else. And I was like, the war sounded so far, so long time ago for me as a kid, really. And I was like, wow, so these guys could still potentially like walk around, while I not necessarily at my supermarket, but like anywhere in the world they could still live, even though it was so long ago. And then I read in a few years later in a local newspaper a small little story about Jack. And that intrigued me already. And then later I went to study media in the city where he's from. And I again saw his name somewhere, and I was like, I need to meet this guy. I didn't even know yet what I was gonna do or make films or something like that. So there was a biography written about his life, and I contacted him and the newspaper he used to work for, because he's unlisted, so it's hard to find him. But he was also, anyway, they put me in touch, and then I just had coffee with him. And I just wanted to ask him all these questions and also details about stuff. And then and we really hit it off in a way. Like he's also very in the film you might not see that, but he's a very funny guy as well, and really open and easy to get along with.
He seems that way.
So that was great. And then still I didn't really I was just a student, no money, nothing. But this always was in the back of my mind, of course. Then I developed my own career, or I studied more. Went study here in LA. And then I still, then I was like, okay, I have a bit more experience now. Maybe I can make a short film about him or about his stories. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And then I heard, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but like that he was still alive. He was already 90 by then, or in his 90s. And I was like, it's way more awesome to just shoot something with him. And I've never done a documentary before, short films, but not. So I was like, we gotta just film his story with him, his perspective, and I got back in touch with him, and he was in right away, and now we're here. So
that's amazing. Well, I mean, honestly, this is again, I can't believe that he would, he's done all of these incredible things to hunt these people down, and the list that he's provided, for the country, the resources he's created as well.
Yeah, that's very important too. So it's not, of course, Nazi hunting. It always sounds like almost like a marketing term, and he did do that. But like he also, as you see in the film, kept track of all these victims, and he now has a database of more than 150,000 people that he all wrote down on little cards. So that's actually almost more important in a way. And he still gets emails or people use his database if they want to know what happened to relatives or things like that.
And you obviously listen. I mean, obviously, if you're in, definitely in Europe, but it was different. Obviously, with the Netherlands, being occupied, it's much more heavy even than from where I'm from in England. But the thing is that obviously what you learned when you're growing up as a kid, as a 14-year-old. But like what did you kind of learn as a filmmaker? Was there new things you that shocked you when you were making this film that you didn't necessarily know?
Well, shocked you is first how long this took, but then more like from the beginning and archival footage and getting the rights and all that.
That's a lot of footage as well.
And just getting the funding for it, because I just mentioned like when before I was a student, but I was still in the early, I'm not a student anymore, but in the early phases in my career, so it's not like, I just have all this money laying around to make movies. So it was the whole fundraising process. Yeah. And then, like I said, it's also my first documentary.
Amazing.
So what I learned would be like, I actually fell in love with documentary filmmaking, even though I love working with actors too. And I just, I shouldn't say this probably. I just talked to somebody here at the event about this. Like it can also really like be super stressful that with a documentary you plan these things out, but you don't know how it's gonna go.
Exactly.
What if he's grumpy or not having a good day? It's not like an actor that's gonna gonna try to put his face on.
That's true.
Or all these other things. But
it's a heavy subjects as well.
Yeah, that too. On the other hand, what I love about it is that you get these sincere moments that you can't rehearse or can't like come up with before, and they happen in the moment. So you set sort of, you have these parameters that you hope your story is gonna go, and then within something like awesome happens, and that's what's cool about documentary filmmaking.
No, that's really, really good points. That's certainly where it's different to narrative. Again, I think this is a film that it's so remarkable seeing someone in their 90s, all the things that they've done and experienced is incredible. And you've known about this particular person, you took the chance, had coffee with him. What's it been like sharing this film to different audiences? What's the reaction been like sharing your film so far?
It's been incredible. What's the most special to me is, or actually today is the first time I'm gonna see it on the big screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's been at Miami Jewish Festival. Yeah. It's been played in Holland, but I could never made it. I have little kids, so I barely leave the house. But anyway, here I am. But what I wanted to say is, Jack, they organized a special screening for him. He's a bit older now than in the film. He's still sharp, but like he fell and he's living in an assisted living community. But they organized a screening for him together with his son, and they invited like high-ranking generals from the military, like mayors of the cities he lived in. Wow. And they shared that with me after, and the producers Karim and Marco, the cinematographer that I made this film with, they live called me when they had the screening, and just seeing that was the most actually special for me, to just him seeing it for the first time. There were TV crews. He got emotional, and he's a tough guy, as you know. And it was just really awesome to see his reaction to it.
No, absolutely.
And he was really honored by it, and also honored that now it's playing here and in other places in America, because of course, especially for his generation, they liberated Holland with the Canadians and the Allies, so for him it's extra special. And that's, for example, also why he's a jazz fan, because they came in and they had the American jazz music and things like that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, I think also you've done a really great credit to to the Netherlands too, highlighting this man who's an icon really for what he's done and achieved, but also creating a legacy for what he'd done on film. That's really powerful that you've done that for him as well as the country, community, and everyone that's done these incredible things to support this. What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I have this weird sort of passions for World War II, comedy, and also soccer.
Oh, wow.
Just like you.
Yeah.
Congrats with beating Ajax with Aston Villa. So with the World Cup and the Olympics coming to LA, I'm hoping to do something around soccer. And Johan Cruyff, the biggest Dutch player we've ever had, played here for a few years.
Yes, he did.
So I would love to highlight his American years.
Yeah, I love that.
I would also love to make something completely different, a little animation that my kids can enjoy afterwards.
Oh, amazing.
That would also be fun.
That's great. Well, whether it's Johan Cruyff or it's animation for your kids, I'm looking forward to what's next for you.
Yeah, but like I said, I really love documentary filmmaking, so if I can do that now for the rest of my life, I'd be a happy man.
Well, you're really good at it, and I think it's so good that you've created this legacy. May we never forget people that have fought for us in human rights and advocacies and helping the underrepresented and underserved, and this was a fantastic film. So,
Thank you
for
so
someone,
much.
For someone that is, in his mid-90s, what a wonderful thing you've done for him and his community as well. So thank you. So welcome to New Filmmakers LA. So looking forward to many more of your documentaries, and thank you for bringing Hunting Jack to us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody.